Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about revocable living trusts. I'm going to decode them today, I promise. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you, if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to estatemeeting.com. Okay. If you watched yesterday's video or the previous video, depending on when you're watching this or listening to this, I did estate planning 101, right? So sort of the basics, what everybody should have. There's a lot more to dive into on that. I should probably hit each of those documents one at a time because they are each individually important in their own right. But I promised I would talk about revocable living trusts today. And so that's what we're going to do. Revocable living trusts are, let's get this right out of the way, by the way. Not everyone needs a revocable living trust. No matter what Dave Ramsey says, or who's the woman? Oh man, I can see her face. I can't remember her name though. It'll come to me. Some people preach revocable living trusts for everyone, mostly for probate avoidance. You don't need a revocable living trust to avoid probate all the time, okay? That's why it's a good idea to talk to, an expert like an attorney about this and not a financial advisor or someone trying to sell you a book. Not that I'm against Dave Ramsey, but he's not a lawyer. And it's impossible to give blanket advice for everyone because everyone has different situations, okay? So let's just get that right out of the way. Not everyone needs a revocable living trust. There are some people that do need a revocable living trust. So if you're just watching this to figure out if you need one, there are a couple of people that probably really should consider a revocable living trust. Person number one, if you have real estate in multiple states, you should consider a revocable living trust. The reason for that is you are likely going to have to do probate in multiple states. There are ways to transfer real estate to other people without having to have a trust. You would just have to own real estate in each of the states that allows you to do that if you do not want to have a trust. Otherwise, you're going to save money, time, effort. It's going to be much more well organized if you have a trust. Number two, if you own a business, you are probably going to want to have a trust of some kind. There is no real way to avoid probate if probate avoidance is important to you with a business like an LLC or a C Corp, S Corp, any of those sort of business entities. Most people own LLCs without a trust. There's no way to sort of like do transfer on death designations with LLC shares, for example. If you have young kids and you have assets of any kind and you don't want them to blow them when they turn 18, you may want to consider a revocable living trust. A revocable living trust allows you to set and specify distribution guidelines for just about as far into the future as you want. You cannot do that with a will. So if you have young children and you want them to use your assets for good and not for fun, if something happens to you, then you may want a revocable living trust. That's the reason why I have a revocable living trust, is because I have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4. And, if I die, I want them to be able to use the things that I've built up to provide them with opportunity in their lives, to enrich their lives, not for a vacation, on the Greek Isles or a sports car or something like that. So that is another reason. If you have someone that has special needs, you may want to consider a revocable living trust. Often the money and the assets that you would give that person would get in the way of their eligibility for benefits and programs and things like that. All right. That might be it. If you want to control the money from the grave for any reason, then you might want to have a revocable living trust. Okay. Hopefully we've gotten that out of the way. There may be other reasons. Again, if you have specific questions, then reach out and we'll chat. Estatemeeting.com. Okay. Now, what is a revocable living trust? Let's break this down. There are really 3 main positions that are created with a trust. There's the trustor. The trustor is the creator of the trust. This is also called the settlor. Basically, if you have anything ending with an or, it's the person that is creating the trust. Then you have the trustee. The trustee is the manager of the trust. If you are creating a revocable living trust, you are going to be both the trustor and the trustee when you create your trust. The third role that is created with a trust is the beneficiary. If you are creating your own revocable living trust, you are also going to be the beneficiary of your trust. The way I describe a trust generally is like a box. You create this box. You can write the rules for how everything in the box is treated when you are gone. You can put anything into the box that you want while you're alive. You can take anything out of the box that you want while you are alive. The nature of a revocable living trust, emphasis on the word revocable, is that you can revoke it. You can modify it. You can amend it. You can throw it in the trash. You can destroy it. You can change it. Okay, you can do all of those things. As opposed to an irrevocable trust, which I had a conversation with someone today that has an irrevocable trust and wanted to change the trust. And I had to inform them that, in fact, they are going to be very sad and disheartened because the nature of an irrevocable trust is that you cannot revoke it. You cannot change it. Okay? When you have this trust, when you create this trust, there are no tax benefits or consequences while you are alive. There is no asset protection with a revocable living trust. The reason there is no asset protection is because you have such a high degree of flexibility and control that it really wouldn't be fair. Because you could move things into the trust to catch a tax break. You can move things out of the trust to catch a tax break. Or you can move something into the trust if you did something wrong, asset protection, and move something out. Because you have a high level of flexibility, the trust is really treated as if it's you until you are gone. Once you are gone, once you're dead, we talk about death here, the trust then becomes an irrevocable trust, which means no one can change the terms as you have set them, okay? And then you can define how assets are distributed over time. Traditionally, if it's with children that are younger, you will set discretionary distributions by the trustee for things like health, support, education, maintenance, and then you'll have allowance for distributions at certain times. When you are gone, when you are dead, and your kids are the beneficiaries of your now irrevocable trust, there is tremendous asset protection, okay? There is no flexibility, and that's what makes them really helpful vehicles to make sure that your assets are used for opportunity, for good, are not squandered when you are gone, okay? That is a revocable living trust in a nutshell. They are wonderful vehicles. I love them. I make a lot of them. They are very helpful. They have a lot of upside, very, very little downside. And if you fall into any of those categories that I talked about at the beginning, and you think a trust might be for you, then I'm happy to talk with you more about it. Okay, that is it. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Or if you're some other place where you can hit any kind of a like button or subscribe or whatever, do it. If you have a question or comment, please leave it. I will answer it. And if you know someone needs to hear this, please share it with them. Finally, if you do want to talk more, please go to estatemeeting.com. You can set up a time to talk with us over the phone for free, estatemeeting.com. Okay, that is it. As always, I am Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning. We do probate. We do it well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you again soon. See ya.